Hey guys, I thought I'd make another video on my challenges playlist. Um, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about buying my first wheelchair, which was probably definitely the worst shopping experience of my life. It has been since resurrected, so I no longer hate the company trying to sell me a wheelchair, um, although I did for a little bit. But I did want to go over what I think is something that should definitely change. I'm pretty sure the wheelchair industry has some strong lobby. There seem to be some really ridiculous laws, but let me just talk about uh, how my experience was, and I imagine the experience of others was similar. Um, I was told I was going to be in a wheelchair clinic. I'm in a different class every day. Whatever. Didn't think twice about it. Um, Woke up. I think this was at 9 or 10 a.m. I wasn't fully awake. Went to this wheelchair clinic thing, and they threw me in a couple wheelchairs. They talked about some of the features. And I was like, all right, I'm in a ton of pain. I'm half woken up. Sure, that makes sense. Okay, fine. Maybe figure out a couple things that make sense. Then I went back to my room, and a couple days later, they had wheelchair fitting session, which I guess I didn't really pay attention to that was going to happen so soon, but it did. And I went into this fitting session, and I was sat down with a sales rep, and this is what he told me. He said, "Okay, we're going to fit your wheelchair. Um, Insurance should pay for most of it, depending on what features you get. They'll only pay for one wheelchair per 5 years, so you're going to be stuck with this for 5 years. Um, you have this 1 hour to make this purchase decision. I don't have any more time, any more slots before you leave here. And if you don't purchase a chair, you will have no wheelchair when you leave this facility, because the wheelchair you're in right now belongs to the facility, this hospital, and we're not going to give you a loaner unless you've already made a purchase. So you have to make a purchase. You have to make that purchase now, and you have an hour, and you're going to have this wheelchair for 5 years. Unless you want to buy one out of pocket again. I definitely wanted to make this pimped out wheelchair. I saved a lot of money over the years, hoping to buy a nice carbon fiber bike. So I'm getting a titanium carbon fiber wheelchair. I guess it's just meant to be. So, I actually came in there half excited because, there's cool stuff, carbon fiber, titanium this, titanium that. But I left almost depressed. We kind of breezed through all the different options. I never really got a time to sit down and research this. And I mean, this obviously is like crazy important, right? So I never really got to research it. And the worst part is, these things are pretty adjustable, but some things you can't adjust, like the width of the chair, etc. And I haven't even lived in my own house. Like an inch can make a huge difference. Maybe I'm going to be banging my hand against my door frame all the time, and if I had an inch narrower wheelchair, it'd make all the difference in the world. And this isn't something you can adjust. So I was incredibly frustrated. And I told the guy straight up, like, I like to shop around. He's like, nope, this is it. This is standard practice. I called wheelchair manufacturers. You can't, by law, buy directly from their manufacturer. You have to go through one of these value-added resellers. And it all feels like a total scam. I mean, I imagine there's lots of people on, let's say, Medi-Cal or in less fortunate situations than me where they not only lost their legs, but maybe they lost their income to a large extent. Maybe they're on disability, which pays very little money. They need to pinch every penny, and they're definitely going to be stuck in that chair for 5 years. So I thought that was completely ridiculous. If I were to reinvent this industry from the ground up, I'd have some kind of nice rental option where people can rent for a discounted amount, or maybe even insurance will pay for rent. I imagine if you have a crappy wheelchair, your chances of recovery or further injury are increased. So insurance should hopefully pay for renting different wheelchairs. Maybe you could try one out once a week or something like that. You should get tons of information about all the different options so you can make the wisest decision possible. Instead of this pressure cooker, 1 hour, if you don't make a decision and buy type of situations, which is ridiculous. And I told him that, and I said, I'm not going to buy a wheelchair from you. I went to my room, I researched wheelchairs. In the comfort of my bed, I was able to spend a few hours. I found an online store that could fit a wheelchair for me that's quite adjustable for $1,800. And actually, since then, this sales rep was able to pretty much completely redeem himself. And he found a demo wheelchair, which is, basically new, but slightly used wheelchair that was very similarly spec'd to the one I wanted to buy. And he's going to sell it to me for $1,500. So it's like a $5,000 wheelchair I'm going to get for $1,500. For those that don't know, I am the deal master. I always find good deals. So I was able to score a sweet deal on this thing, but that doesn't mean that others do. And I think that the way that the industry is set up, where you're kind of forced to make a decision in 1 hour in this one room, is completely un-American. I was like, how can this be happening to me? Is this America? How can I not have choice? How can I not have the ability to shop around? Especially for something this important, if you're complaining about Comcast or something, this is the tiniest frickin' violin playing for you right now, okay? Yeah. Try to buy a wheelchair. It's 10 times worse. That's a challenge. I met that challenge. I got my $1,500 deal. But I'm sure many others are not as lucky as me. So I just get frustrated when people that are already in a tough situation get taken advantage of. I thought that was super bogus. So I don't know. I'm going to look into trying to send a letter to a senator or something. Like, some laws have to be changed. If there is an actual lobby that makes it so it's difficult for manufacturers to sell directly to patients, so that these value-added resellers can pressure cooker sell wheelchairs at some significant margin to these patients, that's just so unethical, if that's the case. I hope that's not the case. Better not be the case. Yeah. If it is, we're gonna crack the top off this bad boy and let people know. So challenges left and right. We're trying to overcome them with a smile, though, as always. Happy state of mind.